Who Dat Nation, we need your help. The bosses said we could not reach 1,000 likes on this video. Who Dat saying they're going to like this video? Come on, hit that thumbs up icon, like this video, help us prove our bosses wrong. And, of course, like this video if you hate the Falcons because they suck. I'm Will Scott. Welcome into Saints Now. We got a lot of news to break down on today's show. We have some news about Alvin Kamara, so let's hit that first because Tony Buzbee, a high-profile lawyer known for taking high-profile cases, is preparing to file a lawsuit against Kamara. Buzbee, of course, was the lawyer for the accusers in the Deshaun Watson case. He is also suing Travis Scott for what took place at Astroworld, in the Astroworld Festival, and what went down there. Could a suspension come this season? After the Buzbee news, of course, we heard from Adam Schefter about a week and a half ago that a suspension was unlikely, but maybe this lawsuit will change that. So Tony Buzbee, as I said, is known for taking high-profile cases, and I'm from Houston, Texas. That is where Buzbee is based. And as a Houstonian, as someone who kind of knows what he's about, I have strong opinions on him. Very strong opinions that perhaps aren't best to share in terms of who he is as a person. But Tony Buzbee, in his defense, does his job pretty well as a high-profile lawyer, has taken this case. It's worth noting he ran for Houston mayor and lost 2 years ago. What is your one-word reaction to the Alvin Kamara news? Go down in the comments section, chime in. Curious to hear what you think. Tony Buzbee's now involved. Here's what the Buzbee law firm said in a statement. The Buzbee law firm is currently preparing to file a lawsuit against Mr. Kamara, his associates, and the venue of which the beating occurred. Mr. Green's injuries resulted from the unprovoked beating inside spiral injuries in his neck and back, as well as a severe traumatic brain injury. That coming in a statement from the Buzbee law firm. So as we take a look at the Saints running back depth chart, Alvin Kamara right now is not suspended. He is set to play the start of the season. Mark Ingram, Dwayne Washington, Tony Jones Jr., Abram Smith, Kirk Merritt behind him, and we bring in my guy Trizzy Trace here. Trizzy, you might not be as familiar as I am with Buzbee just because, I'm from the Houston area. I know a lot about him, what he does. Kind of what are your thoughts on this, though, hearing this, what we're seeing from this statement?
Yeah, so I find it pretty interesting that this all comes after the report from Ian Rapoport recently, I think last week, that the suspension may not occur this season. Like he had that report, we made a video on it, we broke it all down, and I just find it kind of intriguing that this high-profile lawyer is taking on this case for Alvin Kamara. It makes it seem like he's going to try and get the book thrown at him, get as much of a suspension out of him as possible, and I would be lying to say if I wasn't a little nervous. I don't know what to make of it all.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen here. What's going to happen is Tony Buzbee is going to reach a settlement with Alvin Kamara. There's going to be some type of settlement involved, very similar to what we saw with the Deshaun Watson cases. Obviously, this is far, far different. With Deshaun, there was 23 different women accusers. This is one guy that was involved in a fight, an altercation in Las Vegas with Alvin Kamara. So maybe a settlement will come quicker because obviously that Deshaun situation really took a long time to sort things out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that even if we do see an Alvin Kamara suspension happen this season,
I still don't think that's going to happen.
No, and I would agree. I think, but if we do, for whatever reason, it does happen, we do have some depth, and we do have Dwayne Washington, who he got that nice touchdown again, or that 9-yard touchdown reception against the Texans in preseason week 1. We haven't really heard much from him or much about him since then. I know that he, has impressed in the past, and he, has a spot on the depth chart for sure if he, can stay healthy and he can continue to do well. Tony Jones Jr., he's somebody who's definitely been impressing at preseason and at training camp. I mean, he's been adding reps at kick return, on special teams, at running back. He's getting receptions. He's doing a lot that I'm very, very impressed with. And if you ask me, I think Tony Jones Jr.'s stock is very, very high up.
Yeah, I would agree. And, he's someone that we've talked about as maybe being the RB3 on this football team, solidifying that position. He's obviously competing with Dwayne Washington, but also Abram Smith, a UDFA out of Baylor. I really like Abram at the very least. I hope they can keep him on the practice squad, but when you look at that situation, we've seen times where players have tried to sneak a guy onto the practice squad through waivers after they're cut, and then another team snatches them up. that'd be the concern here with Abram Smith.
Yeah, and like the thing I like about Abram Smith is that he is showing growth and he's showing that he's learning from his mistakes. And he had that really, really good drive in preseason week 1 that finished off with the fumble and on the 2-yard line, and you can't do that if you want to be an NFL running back. And that's just something you're clearly seeing him working on and taking note of. And I really, really want him to work out. I think that he's a depth piece that long term could do really, really well, just like Kirk Merritt. I think Merritt, he's fast. He's so electric when he has the ball in his hand. Watching him on kick return is just, it's awesome. It's mesmerizing. That's why
they make the team, because the special teams.
Yeah, I think that Dennis Allen just wants to make it work with Merritt, and that's why we're seeing him start getting reps and start working out with the running backs, and he's been doing pretty well from the reports we're seeing out of training camp so far.
And at 6'1", 214 pounds, maybe his build is a little bit more suited for the running back position in the NFL. Certainly an interesting transition that Merritt is making right now. Now, I want y'all to go down. Let me know, do you think Alvin Kamara will get suspended this year? Type Y for yes or type N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So when an ad break comes, go down, chime in. Do you think Alvin Kamara is going to get suspended? While you're down there, subscribe. If yes, type eat that W. If no, hit the sub button. So if you're subscribed, type eat that W. If no, hit the sub button. And then type eat that W down in the comments section. Let's talk about some more Saints news that we've seen coming out of training camp as well. We saw this in terms of top defense, running back targets if Alvin Kamara is suspended this season. We're going to talk about some of those targets because the Saints might have to prepare for that possibility. We begin with Antonio Gibson. This would be someone who is a trade target. He is currently a member of the Washington Commanders. He has been in some NFL trade rumors. Had a very, very good season. He's one of the more underrated running backs in the league, at least in my opinion. Over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. So I would really, really like this. I don't know if he'd be interested in being a number 2, but he's pretty solid in terms of what he can do rushing the ball, also receiving. He had nearly 300 receiving yards last season, 42 receptions, 4 touchdowns. He is a really, really good player. I don't know how realistic this trade would be. But Antonio Gibson, one of the better trade targets in terms of running backs that you're going to find. This is one of the better jerseys you're going to find. Go down, order your Tyrann Mathieu jersey at chatsports.com/honeybadger. We waited a long time to find out the number. It is the number 32. That's what you're going to be getting at your doorstep. Chatsports.com/honeybadger. Go and get that great deal. It's on sale for a limited time. Kenyan Drake recently became available. He was released yesterday by the Las Vegas Raiders, a shocking move made by the Raiders because Las Vegas is having to take on $8 million in dead cap the next 2 seasons. He's recovering from a broken ankle in December. Really did not do much last year for Las Vegas, just 2 touchdowns, 254 yards. So makes sense that they wanted to move on from him. I'm still surprised, but he was a very, very good player in Miami, also in Arizona. The 2020 season with Arizona was very, very impressive. Let's talk about Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt has been in trade rumors after he requested a trade from Cleveland. Cleveland has said they're not going to trade him, but still a situation to monitor. And he's the RB2 there. I think he can go to most places and be the RB1. Obviously, the Browns do not want to trade him, and he's under the last year of his contract, though. So they're probably going to lose him in free agency, so it might make some sense to trade him. Here is what he did last season. 100 touches, nearly 400 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 174 receiving yards. And I get it, those numbers don't jump off the screen, but imagine what he would do if he was the primary ball carrier on a team. Not to mention, it was just 8 games played last season, just played in half the season. Another option, you could also wait to see who else gets cut during the final roster cuts. Next week, the roster is going to go down from 80 to 53. A lot of high-quality players, maybe young players, going to be getting cut. That's something to monitor. Maybe that makes more sense. Again, Kamara might not get suspended, probably won't get suspended. We're just talking about backup options if that happens. Now, pick a running back to pick up here. Would you rather trade for Antonio Gibson, Kareem Hunt, or sign Kenyan Drake, or maybe somebody else? Type AG for Gibson, type KH for Kareem Hunt, type KD for Kenyan Drake, or type O for other. Down in the comments section, go down, tell me who you want to pick up.